Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Odyssey House Journals. I'm your host, Randall Carlisle. My guest is Emily Tillett, and you might call this podcast The Other Side of Recovery, because we deal a lot with addiction and recovery, and generally it's people in recovery or people who are helping people through recovery. But have you ever wondered if when you send a loved one to a behavioral health treatment center, who's there? I mean, who's dealing with your loved one who is dealing with a disease called addiction? And Emily Tillett is our Chief People Officer. Welcome.
Thank you, Randall.
And you're here to ensure that when somebody sends a loved one to a place like Odyssey House, that there are qualified people there to deal with that person.
Absolutely. We take our role very seriously at the recruiting phase of our people team, and we ensure that the folks who come to the door are qualified. We have wonderful folks who are screening them and who are interviewing them and ensuring that they have the right qualifications and that they believe in what we do and that they understand the vulnerability that the folks who are coming to seek treatment and the place that they are in their life is a very vulnerable, and we want to be able to walk them through their recovery and do that with a team that has the most qualifications and understands the importance of this phase of the client's life and the person who's seeking treatment with us.
We are a therapeutic community, which means that we have people working for us and with people in treatment who are also in recovery themselves.
Absolutely.
And I've seen criticism saying, and of course, some people aren't happy that they're in recovery, but I've seen people saying stuff like, well, you've got drug addicts treating drug addicts. Explain that.
Yeah. We are. That's one of the things that really makes our program as powerful as it is that we want for the team that we bring around folks who are fighting for their recovery to have lived experience, and so we need the people who have walked the walk and who have overcome to be sitting next to the people who have gone to school and who understand the clinical underpinnings of the work that we do and the excellent practices that we bring forward to our clients and helping them overcome. And we have to have them side by side in our program to make it as powerful and help our clients be successful. And I've seen it time and time again where we have to have both perspectives in the room with the client in order for that to take place. And we really want and work hard to attract folks who from our community who are in recovery, and we want that to be Odyssey House to be a really a place where they want to come and give back, and that's important to us.
In simple terms, I've known a lot of clients here at Odyssey House who say, the person I'm working with, my case manager or whatever, I can't bullshit them.
Exactly.
Because they've been there, done that.
Yep.
And so it brings out a lot more truth in group settings and things like that, which is why people need to understand that some of the people who are working with some of our clients have been there, done that, and they actually in perhaps many cases have a better understanding of what the client's going through than some of our higher level professional people.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, so we've, our clinicians, some of them are in recovery as well, some of our clinicians, but we have clinicians who've just been, working hard to earn their degree and gain the knowledge that it takes to work with somebody who has mental health struggles or substance use disorder, and they can bring that knowledge into the room. But I'll tell you what, when we have somebody who has lived on the streets and who maybe has been in and out of jail and who knows all of the kinds of things that typically folks who are working towards their recovery are still trying to overcome. They can smell it and they can call it out real quick.
Yeah. How do you make sure that the people we hire are qualified?
Yeah, I mean, we follow a typical process around how we bring people into the agency and ensure that they are a good fit for the role that they've applied for. We obviously have them submit their resume and their references, and we make sure that they're screened. And we let a lot of folks we turn a lot of people away. We make sure that the interview questions align with the role that they're going into, so that we can assess for whether or not they're a good fit. That's part of what we do at the front door, but we also then work closely with the supervisors and the hiring managers within our team, so that there's often a second interview that happens, and those are the folks who are typically closer to the client population and understand the needs of the role even better. So there's really a set of steps that whether it be a frontline direct care worker or a clinician or any of our other roles have to go through in order to be hired. They then have to go through a very intensive onboarding program, and sometimes they don't make it through that, because we do want to make sure that they understand our policies and procedures, and that they understand how it is that we operate our program, and so that we can do that with high quality and with best practices.
I imagine it's a fine line, because you're dealing with people who perhaps have a past criminal record, those kinds of things. And so you have to really scrutinize somebody who wants to work here. Right.
Yeah, we have a background screening process that our staff go through before they are hired, and we're looking at that with a fine-tooth comb. We have one person on our team that specializes in background screenings, and the new hire can't step foot into our facilities unless they have gone through that process.
And I've got to say, I've been at Odyssey for 6 years, and the room for growth in this industry, not just at Odyssey, is huge, because there's such a demand for qualified people. We had hiring issues just like everybody else in the healthcare industry did during the pandemic, and I understand that our vacancy rate is pretty low right now, much better than a lot of other places. Yep. What have you guys, and I guess this would be aimed at people who might want to get into this industry, which it is, and what has Odyssey done to make it more attractive for people to come work for us?
We have really a full strategy as a people team to attract, retain, and then make sure that we're what I call kind of like leveling up around how our staff is able to really be effective inside of our treatment programs. So we have made sure that as we're attracting folks, that we are offering excellent benefits. So we've really done a lot to improve our benefits package for our full-time and our part-time staff. We're constantly on an annual basis, if not more, ensuring that our wages are competitive among other nonprofit treatment centers, as well as we're comparing to even for-profit organizations to ensure that we can get as close as we possibly can. Where we've put in place some new benefits for our part-time staff that are new and that really help us those folks feel valued, as well as we can retain them a lot easier when they get time off and they have better training opportunities. And we also have, in terms of the retaining staff, we are really focusing on how we ensure that our staff have the skills that they need to work with folks who are on the rough road and of recovery, right? So there's the kinds of things that they're having to help the clients through require a very specialized skill set, and we want to make sure that they understand how to help clients from the moment they walk into the program, that they understand what they might face and how to work with them through how to de-escalate and how to motivate them through when they have lost motivation around their treatment, and that we are bringing in outside vendors to provide high quality training around all kinds of new cutting edge treatment programs. And so the next really phase of the strategy is around how we level up. And I think that is where making sure that we attract the right people, that we are giving them the skill sets they need, and that we are then tracking the progress that we're making, and so that we're getting feedback and making sure that we're then improving all of the programs from A to Z, from the time that we get a resume to the time that, if somebody is with us for 10 years, that they are getting the value that they can from Odyssey House as staff members all the way through. One of the things that we're really proud of right now is that it's hard to find therapists that in any industry, not just in the recovery industry, but we are trying to get more flexible around the kind of offerings we have for therapists. So for those therapists who might be in private practice, or who are maybe they have the degree, but they're in higher education, or they're closer to retirement, or just whatever unique situation they might be in, we want to be able to say, hey, come to Odyssey House, take on a few clients, and work as needed. And so we're having to get flexible around the ways that we know we have skilled folks in our community and how we bring them in.
And you're basically, if you think about it, you're talking about work-life balance.
Exactly.
And the thing that has impressed me about Odyssey House is that that's extremely important to management people at Odyssey House to keep people happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we from our benefits package to the culture that we're working towards building, and that we already have, which is that we have a very flexible, casual dress, informal environment. We want for people to feel like they belong, no matter who they are and what their beliefs are and what worldview they come in with. And we want, if they're a parent or somebody who is moving towards retirement, or everything in between, that we have an environment where they know that they can take care of themselves as a whole person, and they can come to work and bring their whole self into work.
I worked in TV for about 40 years, and although I made more money in TV than I make at Odyssey House, the benefits package blew me away. Maybe you can outline, the number of vacation days and personal days and sick days and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is a very impressive benefits package. We have, in terms of quality of medical and dental benefits that we offer, they're on the higher end in terms of what's offered. We try and keep the cost very, very low for the employee and for those who have families, and the not just medical and dental and vision and all the rest that we offer, but we do have a very rich time off package. So we have a vacation accrual that our staff accrue at higher rates than most organizations. We also have a very abundant sick and wellness time off bucket that our staff are able to use. And we also have a really cool program where we call it our service award program, where for those staff who stay with us for various milestones, they get extra time off. So we want to incentivize our staff to stay. We also want to know that we know that this is hard work, and that we want them to benefit from getting a few extra days, and even taking like a whole week or two. Once you get up to 10 years, you get like 2 weeks of time off extra, in addition to the other vacation that's already accrued and the sick and wellness time.
I got 5 days for my 5 years of work here.
Exactly.
And that's just added on to the other days that I already have.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty unbelievable. And one of the other things that we sort of pride ourselves on is helping people with higher education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have professional development benefit that really hits on all the various ways that people might want to consume education. So they could, if they want to go back to school, and they're seeking a degree that is in line with the role that they're either currently in, or that would be a role that they would want to shift to and grow into later, then we would offer them tuition reimbursement up to $9,000 a year. So that means about $3,000, not just about, but $3,000 a semester. And we also offer reimbursement for going to conferences and seminars. So there's all kinds of opportunities for people, not only through formal education channels, but more of those informal community offerings that would help them level up.
I can't tell you how many people who have gotten through the program and have decided they want to become a social worker, and they've actually gone through all the phases and become, to get their master's in social work. Yeah,
we actually really do have quite a well-walked road map for growth. So I'm not sure that we really I wish we could say this has been our plan all along, but it's just happened organically in that, someone starts in a direct care position with us. Maybe they've graduated from the program or not, but that we find that they move up into the organization, into a supervisor role, onto a case manager role. Then they maybe attain their substance use disorder counselor degree and become a counselor. Some go on to become therapists, or they go on to more of an administrative or a program manager path. And so we have dozens and dozens, maybe more than that have followed a path of growth inside of the organization, including our CEO.
I've been talking about the positive side of working here. The downside of working here is it's a difficult job. Yeah. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think that that is something that we spend time with, and from the very get-go with all of our candidates before they even become employees that we don't want it to be a surprise that working here and saying yes to Odyssey House is a cakewalk, right? You could go and flip burgers or drive an Uber, and it would probably be a lot less stressful, sure, but a lot less meaningful as well. So we really want for our staff to know that they are helping change lives, and the people who are seeking help with us are often in crisis and have come from really traumatic backgrounds and have stories that are hard to hear, and they may be resisting progress, and it's hard to see all of that, right? It's hard to do that day after day, and so we have part of the wellness program and the benefits package and the culture that we're trying to create is one where our staff can have safe and brave spaces to acknowledge that today was hard, or this week was hard, or this last year was hard, and that we have ways to rejuvenate, and that we and take time off, as well as to express safely and healthily how we move through the work that we're doing with our clients, so that we can go back and pick ourselves up and do it again the next day. And
people, you do experience a fair amount of failure in this business. You could maybe be a case manager and be close to a person who seems like they're doing really well, and the next day they walk out of the program.
Right.
And if you take that personally, I guess you'd say, I failed that person,
right.
And it'd be hard to deal with that kind of stuff.
Right. It does require a high degree of resilience working with this population.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, and I think some of the failures where someone just decides that they're not ready for treatment, or they are losing motivation. I depending upon the attachment that our staff have to that person and the work that they've done and the time that they've spent with them, it can be pretty devastating. And we work hard to attend to that and watch out for signs. We have our tentacles out for team members who are struggling with that, but it does take its toll, and I think that you have to love. That's why you have to love and have a passion for the work that we're doing, and feel connected to that there are more wins than failures, and remind ourselves of the wins that we do have, because there are way more wins than failures.
And the wins are so significant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have people coming into our program who have been living on the street for years, okay? A heroin addict, a meth addict, and they stick it through the program,
mm-hmm.
they graduate, and they go on to accomplish great things in life.
Yep.
And we as a staff need to see that,
mm-hmm.
because I don't think everyone understands that addiction is a complicated lifelong disease, and dealing with that means you're going to have setbacks, and some people just aren't ready.
Yep.
I facilitate a family support group, and it's primarily made up of people who have loved ones who are in addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the conclusions that, and a lot of their loved ones have been to like 6, 7, 8 treatment
Yep.
centers. And one of the conclusions we reached, and they've sort of seen through this, is that if somebody comes to a place like Odyssey House or First Step or House of Hope, and then they go on to another and another and another, is that even though they may not realize it, and even though they left in a huff and they pick up something at each place they go.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, and I think that's why we love and collaborate well with our community partners, is that we know that we're all in this together. We don't really see each other as competitors necessarily, like the House of Hope and First Step and the Haven. We know that our clients are going to get different nuggets of life-changing skills or information that we hope one of the treatment centers, one of our partners can help really turn them around for good.
Why do you work here?
Why do I work here? That's such a great question.
You probably ask other people that as a chief people officer.
So true. Yeah, this is like family for me, and I have felt the impact of addiction in my life, and seen family and friends struggle and fail. And I'm not sure that was the primary reason why I joined Odyssey House. I joined Odyssey House because I myself was going through a difficult time in my career, and I was in a desperate place, and I said yes, and I didn't really understand the Odyssey for myself that it was going to be, and that how it is that I have become a changed person, and how I see my own habits and my own addictive behaviors, and how I walk in the world, and how I get to have an impact on my team, and sort of understand at a distance the impact that our staff are having on the ground level, the clients that are fighting hard for their recovery, is what gets me up in the morning. And it's a battle that I feel very personally grateful for, seeing a battle against the addictive behaviors and the addictive spirals that we can all get into, and that I just feel grateful that I get to wake up every day and make a little bit of an impact.
We're glad you're here. I don't think people realize when when I run into friends, they'll say, "Oh, you work for Odyssey House. That's the place up on 6th East."
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize how many people we have working for us, or how many locations or programs we have.
Yeah. So we actually have, I think this year we counted, I think we have 22 locations. And they are all across the Wasatch Front, mainly in the downtown area. And we have programs that serve not only our substance use, just primary folks who have substance use as a primary diagnosis, but also we've expanded our services to mental health treatment, as well as we have a very extensive programming around sober housing. And we operate in the jail system, and we operate a medical clinic, and we serve folks in a preventative way inside of our school systems. And I mean, it is a network, and it is
It's a huge program. How many employees?
We, as of this week, we have just over 450, close to 470, somewhere in there. Right?
That's huge.
That's huge.
And you're in charge of them all.
I would say that there is a whole team of people who help with all that are requires to make sure that our staff, our 450 plus staff, feel like they know what they're doing, and they know where they're going, and they have what they need in order to do the job well.
So if somebody's, and we're running out of time, if somebody's interested in working for Odyssey House, what do they do?
Yeah, so we have a career page on our website. So I would recommend you go to odysseyhouse.org, and there at the bottom you can click on careers, and you can see a list of all of the openings that we have. And if you're not sure exactly which one would be a good fit for you, you can email people@odysseyhouse.org, and we'd be happy to chat with you.
And you will respond.
Oh yeah, we have someone looking at that email every second of the business hours.
Emily, thank you for being our guest.
Thanks, Randall.
Chief People Officer at Odyssey House of Utah, and thank you for watching another edition of Odyssey House Journals.